Hello everyone, this is the ChurchGirl Cummins. Hope everyone had a blessed day today. And so this evening, ChurchGirl is going to be making Porterhouse steak, strip steak, Porterhouse steak is what this one is, as well as some squash and some Marsala sauce, mushroom Marsala sauce. So this is the ChurchGirl today. Thanking God for another day. And ChurchGirl is back in the kitchen once again. So here we go. Going to be making Porterhouse steak here. A nice, fresh, big Porterhouse steak. And some squash. And some mozzarella sauce. Mushroom mozzarella sauce. So let's get started. Okay. On this steak, I've had it sauteing for a while now with my seasoning. And what I seasoned with it, I used Porterhouse steak rub. I rubbed this steak with some Porterhouse steak rub because I wanted it to marinate. So I got it marinated in Porterhouse steak rub along with my gourmet pepper. I put some gourmet pepper on it. And I also used a little bit of onion powder and a little bit of garlic powder. That's what I rubbed my steak with. I used that dry rub and I rubbed my steak on front and back, and I had been marinating now for maybe about 2 hours because I really wanted to have that good flavor, especially with that Porterhouse steak rub. So that being said, now I'm going to get started here. First of all, I'm going to move my squash out of the way. Nice, fresh squash. I had a taste for some squash and went to the supermarket, and they had some really nice squash. So I have it pretty much all sliced up there. So I'm going to move it out of the way right now so I can get my steak going first. So with this steak, I'm going to add a little, start my steak first before I start my squash. And a little olive oil, just a little olive oil. Doesn't take much. Olive oil, and I'm also going to add a little butter to my steak skillet. Nice Greek olive oil. I try to encourage everybody, if you haven't started cooking with olive oil is very good to cook with. So this is a very good olive oil. And I'm going to also add a little piece of butter to that olive oil, okay? And that's what I'm going to cook my steak in. Add a little bit of butter with that. I like the taste of butter and olive oil together because it really gives your food a very good flavor. Sometimes I pop a half piece of garlic over in there, but I'm not going to do that tonight. I'm going to go ahead and turn this on now and get that started. Get my utensils out here. Going to let this butter get started a little bit. Then I'm going to put my steak in there. In the meantime, while that's getting hot, I'm going to go ahead, while my oil is getting hot for my steak, I'm going to move this steak out of the way. That's a beautiful steak. Nice steak. It's been sauteing on the Porterhouse rub for about 2 hours or so. So while my oil is getting hot for my steak, I'm going to go ahead. I already have my squash sliced up here. I only have 2 left because I want to slice up 2 and show you how I slice it up. I'm pretty sure everybody should know how to slice up squash. But just in case you don't know how to slice up squash, ChurchGirl is here to show you. So I washed my squash really good in cold water. And I cut off the head and the bottom, the top part of the squash and the bottom, just like so. I already sliced that off. Then I take this squash and I just start slicing it up, just like this. Very easy to do. You can slice your squash as thick as you want it or as thin as you want it. I like mine. I don't like my squash sliced too thick. I like it kind of thin, just like so, just like this. And try to slice them up as even as possible so when they do start cooking, they'll get done at the same time. Sometimes, when we cook our squash and we have them sliced up all different types of sizes, sometimes those little tiny pieces will cook up before your larger pieces. So Try to make the thickness of the squash the same size if possible. Just like so. Just like so. It's not hard to slice up squash. Very, very fast and very, very easy to slice up, just like so. So, hope everyone around the world is doing good. Here in California, it's nice, but it's been really hazy because of all the fires. And I'm praying that God can take control of these fires. Okay, I have the rest of this squash all sliced up now. So, I'm still waiting for my, okay, I'm going to go ahead and let my butter and my olive oil here go ahead and get warm, a little bit warmer. And I might change the ice so you guys can see it cooking here. Because I want you to see what I'm doing. This front I've been giving me some trouble, so I'm scared to turn it on because I don't want to burn myself. I don't want to be smelling gas. I got to get that checked out. So that oil is getting ready. In the meantime, I'm going to take this onion because it's going to go over in my squash. I'm going to get ready to slice up some onion. I like a lot of onion in my squash. Do you guys like onion in your squash? I love onion in my squash. I think that oil and garlic, this is butter and little butter and olive oil right here. And I think it's all nice and hot. And I'm going to go ahead now and put this nice steak over in here and let it start searing, okay? I want it to sear really, really good. Oh yeah, that's searing really, really good. Let's just plate out, get it out the way. Get it over here in the hot dishwater. Always to keep those hands impeccable clean. Anytime you're in the kitchen, keep those hands impeccable clean. And keep you some hot dishwater always ready to go. Okay? I'm going to wash my hands real quick again and get this plate out of the way here. I like to kind of keep my area nice and neat as I go, so when I finish cooking, I don't have a whole lot of cleanup to do. So I kind of wipe a little bit, much as I can as I go. I smell a little gas. I don't know where it's coming from. Keep those hands impeccable clean because cleanliness is next to godliness. Okay, now I have my steak. You may not see me, but you'll hear me talking. I have my steak searing here on the stove. Really, really good. It's already cooking. So I'm just going to let this steak, move this camera. I'll let that steak keep cooking there really, really good. And I'm going to go ahead now and get my church girl. Going to go ahead and get my squash on. I'm going to be cooking this squash also in butter and a little butter flavored Crisco and a little olive oil as well. I think I already put a little olive oil in my pan. This is going to be for my squash. I like to cook in olive oil because olive oil is not real greasy. And to give I'm going to be careful with pouring this out because my lid came off here. Olive oil is not really, really greasy, and plus it's healthy for you. It's not even though it's an oil, it's a good oil. It's not, to me it's not real, doesn't make me feel like I'm eating a whole lot of grease. Okay? I love cooking with olive oil because it makes my food taste really, really good, and I feel I'm not cooking with a lot of grease. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and put this squash, turn on my eye here. I got to cook it on the camera so you guys can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to go ahead and put my squash on. Have a lot of squash, so I'm going to put the squash on, and then I'm going to saute some onions. Well, I better let that oil get a little. Let my butter melt down. While that butter melting down, I'm going to go ahead and start slicing up my onion, getting it ready for my squash. Oh yeah, church girl is having squash, a nice Porterhouse steak with mozzarella, mushroom mozzarella. I keep saying mozzarella, I meant Marsala sauce. Marsala sauce. I'm sorry, not mozzarella. I'm not having cheese tonight, you guys. I'm having Marsala sauce. I'm trying to get this camera to act right. You may not see my face, but you'll definitely see me working. Okay? Seems like every time I get started, for some reason my camera don't want to act right. I always have it set just right before I get started. But when I get started, don't act right. Okay, Church Girl's gonna go ahead now and start slicing up this onion, just like so. I have my steak cooking over here. It's cooking up really nicely. And I'm gonna go ahead and let me just rinse this, let me rinse my onion off because I'm kind of particular about washing stuff. Church Girl like everything to be nice and rinsed off really, really good. So now I'm gonna go ahead and start slicing up this onion while I let that oil in. I think it's already ready to go. I'm gonna turn it down real, real low. Usually I like to have my onions already over in my squash, but this time I'm doing a little bit different. Most times I like to have my squash and my onions all mixed together before I even put them on. No certain way to slice your onions for your squash. I just like to slice mine and I leave them kind of chunky because I want them to cook over in the squash, but I don't want them to just cook completely away. I like nice pieces, just like so. I like them nice, sliced up, but I don't like them too small. I don't like my pieces too small. And I'll show you the size I'm going to put in there in a minute. Okay, man. Doesn't take steak that long to cook, so I'm going to turn it down because I got to make that Marsala sauce. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead now and put my squash right over in this skillet. Have lots of squash, but you know when squash cooks, it tends to cook down. My husband and I love squash, so it won't go to waste. We'll eat off of it several days for sure. This is my nice squash here. So I got it cooking over here on this front eye. And this is my onion, but I'm going to have a lot more onion than that because I like a lot of onion over in my squash. So I'm going to cut up the rest of this onion. I'm also have a little piece of green onion I'm going to throw in there. I always tell people, if you have your onions and your veggies and you need to use them, if you have something you can use it in, use it, because if you don't use it, you will lose it. So I'm going to cut up this little green onions that I have there because I like a lot of onions over in my squash. And I'm going to put the rest of this onion, well, maybe not the whole thing, but I'm going to put part of it. Slice up a little bit more of this onion for my squash, because I do like a lot of onion in my squash. That's what makes squash really good. It's the onion. My husband and I, we big when it comes to onion and garlic. Church Girl is cooking up some Porterhouse steak with mushroom masala sauce. Gonna be on top. And some fresh squash tonight. Okay, I'm going to take some of this off just in case I don't want to use all of it. Take a couple of rims off. And I may come back and use the rest, I'm not sure. But I do like a lot of onion in my squash. Sometimes I take the skin off my onion. If I have time to do that, then I'll take the skin off. You don't have to do that. That's just something that I like to do. Sometimes you have a big old thick piece of skin right inside the onion, and sometimes I just rip it right out. If it'll come out easy, I'll take it out. If not, I don't bother. But just like so. Sometimes I take that skin right out from my onion. Then I'll just slice it just like this. And I'm going to put all this nice onion over in that squash. And I'm going to let that squash cook down really, really good. It really doesn't take squash too long to cook. Now, sometimes people cook their squash in the oven. I have put mine in the oven before, but I still like to cook my squash on top of the stove. I don't necessarily like to cook it in the oven, but I know I had a friend that the only way she did her squash was inside the oven. And it tasted really good. I used to love her squash too. Season it to taste, and she would stick it in the oven. But church girl like to cook hers on top of the stove, and sometimes I do stick it in the oven if I have a lot going on top of the stove. Alrighty then, there's the onion. And I'm going to put it in this squash in a little bit here. I have my squash going over here. I'm going to season this squash with pepper, some sea salt, or even some pink Himalayan salt. And I'm going to add my onions to it. First, I'm going to go ahead and add some pepper. This is my gourmet pepper. Red, white, and black peppercorn. Fresh pepper. Fresh pepper is always good. If you can afford to buy fresh pepper, please do so. Make the food taste really, really good. Okay? And I like quite a bit over in my squash. But for now, I'll add that. And if I feel like I need to add some more, I will. But I love fresh peppercorn. Now I'm going to go in and add some sea salt, but I think I'll use my pink Himalayan salt. You all know this is one of my go-to salts here. I'm going to put some of that. It has no MSG in it, that's why I really like it. And it's come from out of the mountains, out of India, Indonesia, and a few other countries. I think Amsterdam, and I think it's Australia. So that's where you can find this salt at. Out of the mountains, it's good, more better for you. You have no MSG in it. So I absolutely love pink Himalayan salt. You can find Himalayan salt in pretty much any of the supermarkets nowadays. Okay. Now I'm going to go in and add my onions to this. I love onions, so I might end up adding some more onion. I don't know yet, but I just might. Because I really like a lot of onions in my squash. As far as I'm concerned, I can't get enough onion in it. So I'm going to cover this now and let this come to a nice steam and start cooking right on the top here. I may add a little bit of water, but normally I don't add water to my squash because squash make its own water. Makes plenty of its own water. So I'm going to grab my top. I'm sorry I didn't have my top already out. So let me just try to grab it here. So I can get my hands on it really quick. Should have had it out, but I forgot to take it out. And I don't know why I don't see it. Oh, here it is, right in my face. Right in my face, you guys. I think this is it. Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna rinse my top. I always rinse everything, even though it's already nice and washed and clean. Church girl still like to rinse everything before she uses it again. Even though it's already washed. I'm afraid of dust. Church girl is afraid of dust, so go ahead and cover this now. I'm gonna let this cook up there. I'm gonna check my steak. And you know when you're checking your steaks, when you're cooking your steak and you're checking your steaks, I always use a tongue. I don't usually use forks because, let me just put this up so you guys can see me. I want you guys to see me when I'm talking to you. Normally when I'm cooking steaks and different things, I like to use a tongue because if you use a fork and you're dealing with your meats, you just pull all your juices, all that good juices right from your meats because you're sticking it with the fork. So get you a nice set of tongues. So when you're checking your meats, that look really good on that side. It's searing really good. I'm gonna let it sear, cook a few more minutes on this side. In the meantime, while that's cooking, I'm gonna go ahead now. My squash is cooking here. My steak is cooking here. Now I'm going to get ready to make my Marsala sauce. I'm going to put this gonna put my veggies, my squash on this back eye in a minute. I'm gonna be making my masala sauce in that skillet there. Okay? And then in making the masala sauce, the first thing I'm gonna do, I have baby mushroom. I'm trying to think of the name. I never pronounced this name right for this mushroom. Portobello. But these are baby bellas. They call these mushrooms baby bellas right here. I'm going to show them to you because I didn't use them all. I'm going to save the rest and I'm going to be making chicken masala out of the rest. But these is portobello, baby bellas, mushrooms. So I'm going to use half of those because I don't need all of them. And I'm going to go ahead and put my squash there on the back eye because I'm going to use the front. So while my steak is cooking up and while my squash is cooking up back here on the back, Church Girl is going to go ahead now and start making my my masala sauce. So what I'm going to do now real fast is just slice up my baby bellas. And the way you clean these, the way you clean your mushrooms, mushroom is easy to tear up on. You don't want to wet these up. You do not want to wet your mushrooms when you buy them. So what I do, I take a damp paper towel, just like so. I get a paper towel, just like so. And I just damp just the end of the paper towel. I don't damp the whole paper towel, just damp just a little piece. And I take each of my mushrooms and I just make sure I go around them really lightly. Real lightly. Normally they're pretty clean, but just in case they have a little sand or something on them, I want to make sure I get all that sand, if there's any on there, anything extra on it to come off, Church Girl want to make sure it's off. I've already gone through all of these, but I'm just showing you how I do it. Get you a damp paper towel. Do not, by all means, soak your mushrooms in water, then you're going to ruin them, okay? So get your damp paper towel, and especially around the bottom, clean them off just like so. I've already did that. I'm just going over these to show you how I did it. Mine is already clean. Damp paper towel, and just make sure you wipe off if there's any extra sand or anything on there and you think need to come off. Make sure. And I go over all of mine because no Church Girl want to make sure everything she have is extra clean. I don't want to bite down on no grit and nothing. So make sure you just use a damp paper towel, just like so, and pay close attention to the bottom of your mushroom, especially around the bottom of your mushroom, where you usually have the sand, most sand is. But normally they are clean unless you buy them fresh from the market. You really have to make sure you clean them really good. But do not soak your mushrooms in water. Just get a damp paper towel and, just clean them off just like this. And that'll be just fine. Just like so. Okay? Mine are already clean, but I just wanted to show you real fast how I do that. Pay close attention to the bottom and the top part, and just a damp paper towel, and it'll take off any excess sand if anything is there. And there you have it. That's how you wash your mushrooms. So now I'm going to go back in and check my steak, and then I'm going to turn this steak. I don't want my steak to be overly cooked because I got to add my masala sauce to it anyway. So let me just turn it here. It's looking really good. I'm so glad that I went ahead and I had time to really give it a dry rub. I had time to give it a dry rub. I'm just pulling this little excess to the side because I don't like that. Now this, I trimmed a little fat off of my steak as well. If you buy a steak and have a lot of fat on it, trim it off. I'm going to add a little bit of water to my squash. Squash tend to make its own water, but sometimes I help it out a little bit. Because I have a lot of squash, sometimes I add a little bit of water. I just drop the top to my water. Let me just rinse it off real fast and put that on there. I don't use my tap water to cook with. I don't like my tap water. My tap water seems to be, to me, it's hard water, so I never cook with my tap water. Okay, I add a little water to this. Now I'm going to cover this back and let it finish doing its thing. Then I'm going to come back and add some more seasoning to my squash. But right now, I just want it to cook down, get the cooking really good. I have some onion in here, and I'm probably going to add some more onion because I love lots of onion in my squash. They smell real good, really good too. They're nice and fresh. They had just got them in, and I was so, Church Girl was so happy. Because I really had a taste for squash for about 2 weeks now. And I was able to find some. Okay. That's cooking really good. The steak is cooking really good. So now, while that's cooking, I'm going to go ahead now and slice up these mushrooms really fast and get this mozzarella sauce going. The way you slice the mushroom, this is how I slice up mine. I take one mushroom, I put it down, and I just start slicing up just like so on the side. They're not that hard to slice up either. They're pretty easy to slice. You pretty much slice them up any way you like to slice them up, but I just lay mine down just like so, and I just start slicing. And like I said, I'm only using, I don't know if I'm going to use all of these. I might, I'm not sure. Because I only got one big steak here. But I probably use all of these, since I have them all ready to go. Making a nice thing of Marsala sauce to go on top of my steak. With this mushroom, it should be really, really good. Now, I'm not a big fan of mushrooms, to tell you the truth, but this is a recipe that I wanted to try out. I do eat mushrooms. If I go out and I order something with mushrooms on it, I will go ahead and eat it. But it's just for us, just buying mushrooms. I'm trying to see if that's enough. That might be enough, because it's just one steak, and I don't want to cook a whole lot. I'll slice up one more. I'm not going to use the last one. I'll add it back to my other mushroom over there. And then when I make my chicken masala, I have plenty of mushrooms to go in. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add some, with this mushroom here, I'm going to add some butter and a little olive oil in this pan here. I think this pan is big enough to make that masala sauce. Let me see. Or maybe I should use this one. I don't know which one to use, you guys. I think I'll use that one. Hopefully it's big enough. And it'll be big enough, because I'm just going to put in whatever it holds. That's what Church Girl is going to do. Okay. Going to add a little olive oil to this. And I'm also going to add a little butter. Nice olive oil. Add a piece of butter to this olive oil here. And I'm going to saute garlic, onions up first, and then I'm going to go ahead and add the, I'm going to need that butter for the, later on for the, I'm going to need this. I didn't even slice up no onion for my masala sauce, so I can go ahead and do that now. I'm going to go ahead and slice up some more onion on the side here, because I'm going to need, I have my garlic all ready to go. That's my garlic, but I don't have any onion in here, so I'm going to go ahead now, just push this out of the way. Move this out of the way. I'm just going to slice up some onions really, really fast for my masala sauce. No certain way to slice it up. Just slice up some onion. Church Girl is slicing up onion, getting ready to make her masala. Now you can use masala, mushroom masala sauce over chicken, over steak. Whatever kind of meat you like it over, you can even saute you some sausage, sausage link, Italian sausage link, and you can make you a nice mushroom sauce, masala sauce, and put over that. But it's very good with chicken masala, steak masala. It's very, very good. If you've gone to Olive Garden, I'm sure you've seen it on the menu before. Steak masala, chicken masala. And you can also get Italian links. What they do, they grill those links up really nice, and then they'll slice them up, and then they'll add that mushroom sauce, masala sauce on top with some pasta. It's very good that way too. Okay, but I'm serving mine up tonight with to my husband, I'm not gonna, I don't know if I'm gonna eat it. I don't have much of an appetite, but I'll probably taste it. I got it, church girl, got to taste it. Now I can't cook something and don't taste it. So I have some more veggies in the refrigerator, and I'm cooking that squash. So whatever you want to eat with that steak, you can have the veggies tonight, or you can have the squash. Because I have plenty of squash for tonight, and plenty for tomorrow, and plenty for the next day too. Because we're not gonna let anything go to waste. Okay, now I think this may be enough onion here. Put my Marsala sauce on this eye. My steak is cooking up really, really good. And I'm gonna make this Marsala sauce, and then you're gonna see how I'm gonna put it over this steak and bring it together. And it's gonna be really, really good. I do like a lot of onion, but I'm not going to put too much onion in my Marsala sauce here. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and saute this onion and garlic up. And I'm just waiting until that oil over there get a little bit warmer, because I didn't have it turned on. But I'm going to go ahead and add this onion and garlic to my olive oil and butter. Okay, I'm going to add this onion and garlic to this, right over in here to this butter and garlic, just like so. So let this saute down. Then I'm going to add the I'll go in, I'm gonna let this saute down really good. And I'm hoping that this pan is deep enough. But I think it'll be fine for my steak. I only have one steak. Be enough. It'll be enough sauce. Okay, let me go in here now and check my steak again. The steak is really, really cooking up good. It looks really, really good. It'll be ready. My steak will be ready in a few minutes. Doesn't take steak too long to cook, because I don't want it to, you know, dry out and anything like that, because I'm going to add my Marsala sauce to it. So in about another minute or two, I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take off this, let me turn this eye down over here. I'm sauteing my onion and my garlic for my getting ready to add my Marsala wine to this. And then I'm going to be adding some chicken broth. This is the chicken broth. And I'm going to be adding some Marsala wine to this sauce, okay? So now what I'm getting ready to do, sometimes I go ahead and I add a little bit of pepper and salt to my onions, but I'm not going to do that tonight, to my onions and garlic. Sometimes I add salt and pepper to that, but I'm not going to add salt and pepper to that. I'm going to wait and add that to it, okay? So I'm just going to wait. So now what I'm getting ready to do is I'm going to add my mushroom straight over to this. I'm going to add my mushroom straight over in my onion. Ooh, this smells real, real good. I want to saute up a little bit more. What I want to do, I want to take out this excess. From my steak, I always like to take out this excess right off from my steak. I do not like it if I can help it. I just take something, I take out that. I don't like it in my steak. Nothing is wrong with it, just excess that I don't like that cooks off from the steak. So I just take it out. Everybody cook different, so Church Girl just take that right out. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to get ready to add this. I'm going to check my squash, and then I'm going to get ready to add in my mushrooms. Once I add my mushrooms, it's not going to take long at all before I be adding in my Marsala wine and my broth. My squash is cooking up really, really good. They're coming along, cooking up really, really good over here. The steak is cooking up really good. And my squash is cooking up really, really good as well. Cooking up really, really good. Everything is cooking up really, really good. I want to move this box out of the way. And I'm sauteing there my onion and garlic. And I'm going to get ready to put that mushrooms right over in that onion and garlic. Church girl is in the kitchen. Thank God for giving me strength to be able to be in the kitchen again today. And I love to cook. When the Lord gives me strength to be in the kitchen, I love to be in the kitchen. So now what I'm going to do, go ahead and cover this back up. Let that squash do its thing. And Church Girl going to do her thing. I'm going to go ahead now and add in this. I'm going to save this mushroom. I don't need any more mushroom. Now I'm going to go ahead and add this mushroom right over into with the garlic. Right over in the garlic. And I don't want to use this. That's for my squash. And onion, okay? First of all, you want to saute your onion and your garlic together before you add your mushrooms. Then you go right in, just like so, and you add in your mushrooms. Bring it up closer to you. You add in your mushrooms, and you just let those mushroom, garlic, and onion marry together on the stove. Smells so, so good in here, you guys. Church Girl is cooking up steak with mushroom masala sauce and squash smothered in onion. Plenty of onion, because I love onion in my squash. Okay, I'm going to let this cook now. Now I'm going to go back. I'm going to go ahead and turn down. Matter of fact, I'm going to turn down that steak really, really low. I'm going to leave it on because I like my food cooked well done. I don't like medium rare steak, medium well. I like well done food. I don't want it overcooked, but I do want it all the red out of it. I want all the pink gone. Okay, so I'm gonna turn it down really, really low because I do see a little bit of pink coming through. So I'm gonna turn it down really low because it's gonna have some more cooking time left when I add the masala sauce to it or over it. I don't know. Sometimes you can cover your whole steak or your chicken masala, whichever one you're using. You can cover the whole thing and let it saute, or you can just take it out and put your masala sauce right on top, right before serving. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to pour mine over it and let it simmer a few minutes. Okay, I'm letting this saute. Now I'm going to add some pepper. I'm going to add some little pepper and salt to this. I'm going to add some fresh pepper, gourmet pepper. I love peppercorn. It just makes the food taste so much better. So add some more peppercorn to that, and I'm going to add a little bit of salt. I can either use sea salt or I can use Himalayan salt. So I'm going to use a little bit of Himalayan salt. That's the first thing I saw when I opened up pantry. I don't want to add too much because you can always, if you want to add salt and pepper later, you can always add some later. I'm going to add a little bit more olive oil to this because that mushroom soaks up that olive oil and butter. So I'm going to add just a little bit more olive oil and maybe another little small tiny piece of butter, because the mushroom will soak up your oil. You gotta have enough to let it saute really, really good together. It's sauteing up really, really good. I do want to add one more little piece of butter as well, because I'm going to be putting the rest of this butter probably in that squash anyway. Okay. So this doesn't take mushrooms long to saute up, because I'm going to be putting it over that steak in a few minutes. And I'm going to bid you guys a good evening. In just a few more minutes, I'm going to bid you good evening, okay? This is coming along really, really good. I'm gonna turn the heat up a little bit more. So let this saute. Now let me check my squash here. And I'm gonna get ready to finish bringing this masala sauce together. Oh yeah, my squash is really coming together really, really good. I'm gonna add the rest of those onions to it though, I think. And I'll be adding some more salt and pepper to my squash. Now some people don't cook their squash as long as I do, but I like to cook my squash down, really down. Now that it's really making its own water, I'm gonna let this cook down. Okay. I normally like nice cornbread with my squash. I do have some hot water bread already made. And tomorrow I'll make some homemade cornbread. Church girl not making homemade cornbread tonight. Tomorrow I'll make some homemade cornbread. I'll wipe that up because cleanliness is next to godliness. Always, as I said, keep those hands impeccable clean. And keep you some nice hot dish water when you're in the kitchen. Always have some nice soapy hot dish water ready to go, and keep those hands impeccable clean because you don't want no cross-contamination when you're in the kitchen, okay? Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to get ready to bring this masala sauce together here. I just want this to saute up a little bit more. Turn the eye up on it so it can go on and finish cooking up here. Want it to fry up. All right. In the meantime, what I really want to do, I didn't do, and maybe I won't add any. I won't add any bell peppers. You all know I like to eat with my eyes. I always tell you that I like for my food to look good as well as taste good. I don't like bland looking food. So I think what I'm going to do is add some red bell peppers over with my squash. While that is sauteing up there, I'm just going to cut up a little bit of bell peppers and I'm going to add it to my squash. I love bell peppers. Bell peppers are good for you. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and add, I was contemplating if I want to add in it tonight or not, so I think I do. So what I'm going to do now, real fast, is just add some sweet bell peppers to my squash while my mushrooms is cooking up here really good. I turned up the heat on it so it can go ahead and do its thing, but I don't want it to do its thing too fast there. Okay. Looking really, really good. This mushroom looking really, really good. Just like so. My mushroom is coming together really, really good. I like to bring my food over to the camera to show you guys, but I think what I'm going to do is start, I had to order me a new tripod, so when I get my new tripod, I don't have to be moving that camera around as much. So I had to order another tripod. So hopefully it'll be here soon. In the meantime, I'm just chopping up some bell peppers here, real fine. And I'm going to put it over in my squash. I love, love, love bell peppers. And as you always hear me say, I like for my food to look good as well as taste good. When I in culinary school, and I think I shared it with you before, that was a big thing that the instructor would teach us when I was in culinary school. I went to culinary school to learn different techniques and how to put different things together. I already knew how to cook. Mississippi girl knew how to cook now. Don't fool yourself. I already knew how to cook. My mom was a great cook, so I had learned how to cook. But I did want to learn how to do some things, some specialties, and I wanted to learn how to bring different foods together using different ingredients. And I also went to focus in on cake decorating. So I went to school. I tell people, you want to know how to do something, you don't know how to do it, take a class. A lot of times I have people tell me, oh, I don't know how to cook, I don't know how to cook, I don't know how to do this and that. They got schools. Church girl tell you, go to school, they'll be glad to teach you. Oh yeah, they'll show you, honey. When they get through with you, you'll be a chef. A top chef. So anyway, they taught me how to bring different ingredients together. I'm gonna take this top off of this squash now, so it can kind of dry out some. I just wanted to get started with the top to create a nice steam. And now I'll take that top off so that squash can cook down a little bit and it'll be ready to eat. But in the meantime, Church Girl is gonna put her some bell peppers over in there. Know why I'm gonna put some bell peppers over my squash? Because I'm the church girl and I can do that. One thing about a good cook, you know you have a good cook when the good cook know how to put different things together and not afraid to try different things and add different things to your food. You'll never know what tastes good if you're never willing to try it. Give it a try. And if you don't like it, then you don't have to do that no more. Okay? Add a little bit more bell peppers. Chop up a little bit more bell peppers over in my squash here. I love squash, but when I look at my squash, I don't want to just see yellow squash. I want to see some nice, beautiful red sweet bell peppers. It's going to really enhance that flavor, help enhance the flavor of the squash, and the onion is going to really bring it out just that much better. Okay, now my mushroom is really ready here. So I'm going to let this cook down some. My squash looking really good. I can turn them off in a little bit because they're pretty much ready. It doesn't take squash long to cook. I'm going to let that bell pepper cook down over in there, and I might throw some more onions over in there. But in the meantime, now I got to deal with this, bring this masala sauce together here. And in bringing it together, I'm going to go ahead and add my, let's see, I had written down how I want, the order I want to put this in. So now I'm going to add my chicken stock to my mix over here. And then I'm going to add my wine, my Marsala cooking wine, you guys. Go ahead and add this chicken stock. I may not need quite as much. This is chicken stock. You can use beef stock or chicken stock, whichever one you like the best, okay? Whichever one you like the best is fine. Okay, now I'm going to bring this heat back up to this. Then I'm going to add I'll let this come to a nice boil really good. And then I'll be adding my Marsala wine. Sometimes you can add squeeze a little lemon juice up in there if you want to. I'm not going to use lemon juice tonight, but that's just another thing you can add to your masala sauce. So now all I'm doing now is just breaking up a little bit of parsley, because in the end I'm going to add some parsley to my masala sauce. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and chop this up real fast so I have it all ready to go. Church Girl, when everything all ready to go, let me just wipe this down really fast. The steak is ready, so I'm just going to turn it off for a little bit. I don't want it to keep cooking if it doesn't need to cook. I want my steak cooked good, cooked well, but I do not want it overly cooked, you know. I want it to be nice. And this is just some fresh parsley. I'm going to be adding it to my steak once I bring everything together. I'll show you how I'm going to be bringing this together. I'm just chopping this up. You can either chop it up or you can pull it apart. Either way you want to do parsley, depending on how small you want it. If you want it real fine, then you chop it up real fine. If you don't want it real fine, it's all a preference. It's all up to you how you want your parsley. Okay, I'm just chopping it up here a little bit. Really pulling it apart a little bit, because I'm going to be using this parsley. I think this is a plenty parsley. Smells really good too. Anytime you can get your veggies fresh or your spices fresh, I always say freshness is the way to go. If you can't, then I go ahead and I use the dry seasoning. But if at all possible, ooh, that parsley smells so good. That's a plenty too, because parsley is strong, you guys. I may not even put all that in it, because parsley is really strong. And I want to give you a tip. You know, I used to didn't like to use parsley because I didn't know how to preserve my parsley. And most times when I buy parsley, it tends to go bad because I don't have time. You know, I don't know how to preserve it. But I found out how you preserve your parsley. You take your parsley fresh when you buy it like this, and you get a jar, a little mason jar or anything like that, and add a little water, just enough to touch the bottom of your parsley. Put that parsley in a little mason jar or something with some water, and then just set it on your counter. You can either put a paper towel over it lightly if you want to, and it'll last much, much longer. That's how, a little tip that I tried, and I noticed that it worked. Because when I try to put it in the vegetable bin, it'll get too wet and soggy, and I end up have to throw it out, okay? So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and get ready to add my masala wine here, because I can already see that this is coming together really, really good. Just letting this cook a little bit. Now I'm going to go ahead and get ready to add the wine. Now there's a very important tip that I need everybody to listen to this real, real good. Anytime you're using cooking wine, especially Marsala wine, Marsala wines, whether it's white, red, blush, whatever color it is, always turn that eye way down, or take that skillet completely off the eye, because this will create a flame. And if you're not careful, you don't want to, like one chef said, he don't want to burn the house down. So church girl don't want to burn the house down. So when I put this over in my mushroom and my chicken stock, I'm going to make sure I have that eye turned way down. I think that ought to be enough, because I'm not really making that much. Ooh, it smells good too. I'm not really making that much, so I think that's be a plenty wine there. This is Marsala wine, cooking wine. But as I said, make sure you don't have it right over high heat, because this will create a flame. And it's not like you're in a big restaurant, like one chef said, they got a lot of big fans and a lot of big safety gadgets. So this is made with a blend of American Marsala style wine and distilled spirits. Very, very good for cooking. Matter of fact, see, it's a cooking wine. So don't go out and say the church girl is drinking wine over there. Woo! Even though Jesus did turn water into wine, so I'll leave that at that. We're not going to debate drinking wine tonight. I always tell people to each his own. That's between you and your God. So that's cooking wine. And wine is really good to cook with. I tell people to try different flavors and different ingredients. Don't be afraid to use cooking wine. It ain't gonna hurt you none. It really make that food taste. I tell you one thing, it sure will make that food taste good. I know that. So now I'm gonna get ready to go in, and I'm gonna go ahead and put in this. Put in my Marsala wine. I can't never hardly get this to call that word right. But anyway, I'm gonna remove this from the heat, and then I'm gonna add this wine to it. Okay. And I'm going to make sure that I move it from the heat too, because I do not want to, like I said, I don't want to burn the house down. So I need to move it from the heat. I'll turn the heat down. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take it off the eye. Now I'm going to add the wine here. I'm going to add all of that. Then I'm going to put it back over the heat. If you don't take it off the eye, just make sure you have the eye turned down real low when you add that Marsala wine, because it will create a flame. And before you know it, you have flame all up in the air. You don't want that. So now I'm going to let this cook down. Come to a nice boil here. Now if it's too loose, like right now it's too loose, I'm going to let it cook down some. And then I'm going to add some starch with the rest of my broth over there to thicken it up some. To bring it to a nice thickening. Some people use flour, but I'm not going to use flour. I'm going to use a little starch, okay? Meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and let that come to a nice cook. And while I'm doing that, I'm gonna go ahead back in and check on my I don't want to turn it up too high because I don't want no flames in here. Church girl cooking with Marsala wine, but she don't want nothing catching the flame. So in the meantime, what I'm gonna do now is have a little extra small piece of red bell pepper that I didn't see. So I'm gonna go ahead and I should put it over in my masala. I think I will. Just a small piece of red bell pepper here. I'm adding it over to my, it's not, I didn't have this in my recipe, but if you want to add something to your masala, don't be afraid. Like I said, don't be afraid to try new things. This was just a small piece of red bell pepper that I need to use anyway. So I was going to add it to the squash, but I'm going to go ahead and just add it to my sauce. Bring that color on out. Make it really nice and pretty. Just like it tastes good, I want it also look appealing. I don't like to eat food that doesn't look appealing. It just turned me off for some reason. Don't look good, church girl. Just slow about eating it. Okay, now let this come up to a nice boil here. Come up to a nice boil. But what I really want to do, I think I want to add some more pepper to my squash. Nothing like fresh peppercorn. Ooh, I can smell that. I turn that eye down because I don't want. I can smell that masala wine. That's enough. I'm gonna bring this up to a slow. Bring it up to a slow boil. I don't want to bring it up too fast. Now I do want to add a little bit of. I don't have a whole lot of onion in this. Like I told you, I really like onion in my squash. My husband loves onion and so do I. This is just garlic powder. So now I'm going to mix all this up and let it finish cooking down. And I like to add a little butter. I use olive oil and butter in my squash, but I'm going to add a little bit more piece of butter because I put just a tiny piece. And I like that butter flavor in my squash. I'm going to taste it to see if I need any more salt. I probably do. Because I really didn't add much salt at all to my squash. So I'm probably going to add some salt to it. Meantime, I'm going to add some butter to my squash because I love the butter flavor. Woo, smell it. I can really smell that cooking wine. And now I don't think I need no more butter. So I'm going to put it all back in the fridge because I don't want it's already getting soft on me. Okay, now guys, I'm going to bring this to a close. And hurry up and bring this to a close because my videos tend to be lengthy. Okay, this is all ready to go. I'm just going to let this cook down. Let my squash cook down a little bit more. I love onions. I may put some more onions in it, and I may not. Anyway, that's my squash. I want them to cook down a little bit more. They're really done, to tell you the truth. So now what I'm gonna do with my sauce here, I'm gonna go ahead and show you how I'm gonna thicken this right up, and then I'm gonna pour it over my steak. And bid you guys a good evening. Church Girl is making Porterhouse steak with masala sauce, mushroom masala sauce, and squash. Okay? I like cornbread with my squash, but I already have some cornbread made, and tomorrow I'll make some homemade cornbread. Not making homemade cornbread tonight. Always keep those hands impeccable clean. Because cleanliness is next to godliness. Okay, now this is what I'm going to do. You turn that down because this is really ready to go. And my steak is ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this steak back on. Turn it down really low. Let it come up. Let that skillet get hot. And I'm going to finish off this masala sauce. Now what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna take the rest of this chicken stock right here. I'm gonna add some starch to it because I need to thicken up my sauce over there a little bit. Now you can use flour as well. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to use flour. I have plenty of starch, and Church Girl didn't feel like pulling out the flour, so I'm using the starch. It's a thickening agent. That's all I wanted to do, is bring my food up to a thickening. So I add a little bit more chicken stock. Now I'm gonna take some cornstarch with the spoon here. I'm just gonna take a regular teaspoon. I'm gonna add some to that starch. To the stock, chicken stock. I'm gonna add this to that should be a plenty. I'm gonna add this to my, I'm hoping that's enough. Yeah, that's a plenty. Ooh, I hope I didn't put too much in there. I'm eyeballing it tonight, you guys. So anyway, that being said, Church Girl, gonna give it to bid you guys a good evening. Take the chicken stock, just like so. Make sure it's stirred up really, really, really good with your starch or either your flour. It's stirred up really, really good. I tend to look on the bottom to make sure nothing is stuck to the bottom. And just stir that up really, really well, okay? Because what this is going to do is going to thicken up my masala sauce. My masala sauce is a little loose, so I'm going to thicken it right up. I'm going to add this to it. Smells so good. Let me taste it. Remember I tell you, don't be afraid to taste your food. Woo, it tastes good. You never double dip. You taste, get another spoon. The only thing missing out of this is some pepper. That's all that's missing. So I add a little bit more black pepper. Well, as a matter of fact, what I wanted to do, let me stop this. I'm not going to add that black pepper. What I really wanted to do, I wanted to add a little bit of this pepper, but I was contemplating on, did I get it out, if I want to use it or not. It's a very, very good pepper right here. This is called Southwestern Sweet and Smoky, but it's a red pepper flake, and it's kind of smoky. It's salt-free. Make your food taste really, really good, but it will give you a kick because it have chili peppers in it. I've tried it, and it's really, really good. It has spices, including chili peppers, onion, garlic, and a little brown sugar up in here, and dried tomatoes. So this will give your meats a really good flavor, especially your sauces if you want a little heat to it. So I wanted some black pepper, but what I'm going to do is put a little bit of this, just a little bit, because it's not going to take too much to, I don't want to burn my husband's mouth off with all this heat. This is a clean spoon. Okay, now I'm going to taste this again. Right before I add my thickening to it. Okay, I want to taste it one more time. Woo, that tastes good. Gave me a good kick too. Now I'm going to rinse this same spoon out. You can use the same spoon. Make sure you wash it. Because you definitely don't want to do no double dipping. If you taste your food with a spoon, wash that spoon or get a new one. Now what I'm going to do, remember, I put some cornstarch over into the chicken broth. Now I'm going to pour that right over in this mixture. I may not use all of it, but I'm going to see how much I need. This should thicken this right up. Okay? Then I'm going to take my Marsala sauce and I'm going to pour it over that steak. Now some people pour it over their steak when they put their steak over their plate, but I really want to saute mine in the frying pan a little bit. That's gonna thicken up. So while I let that thicken up, I'm gonna get a fork and taste my squash. Oh yeah, Church Girl, gotta taste it. See if I need any more salt or pepper or anything. And if I do, I'll go right ahead and I'll add it. So I'm going to bid you guys a good evening in about 5 minutes or less. I'm always happy when I can come in my kitchen and cook. I'm not able to cook every day. Cooking is my therapy. So some days I'm not feeling well enough, I can't do it, but I always a blessing when I'm able to cook. I enjoy cooking, so I thank God that He blessed me to get in here. When I'm not in too much pain, you can find Church Girl in the kitchen. I'm going to taste this squash and see if it needs anything in it. Got to blow it because the Church Girl don't want to burn her mouth off. As I said, don't ever be afraid to taste your food. If you don't taste your food, you'll never know if you're missing something, if you need to add something, if you need to blend out something. You'll never know if you don't taste your food, okay? Ooh, that tastes good. I don't really think I need anything unless it's some pepper. And I think I'm gonna put that same kind of pepper over in that squash. It tastes really good. Don't need nothing added to it. It's really done already. Okay, now I'm going to add the rest of this, because I do need the rest of this broth here to thicken this up. And I'm going to pour this over that steak in about 2 minutes. I don't have to wait that long. I pour it over the steak right now. I'm going to add my parsley last, and Church Girl's gonna say good nighty night. In the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit more of this pepper flakes, because that's all it is, to my squash. Instead of black pepper, I'll give it a little bit of kick with this red pepper there. That's all it needs. And I think I add just a tiny bit more salt. As I said, if you don't taste your food, there's absolutely no way you'll know what's needed if you don't taste it. So don't be afraid to go in there and taste your food. I always like to add a little bit of seasoning at a time, because I can always go back and add more. But if you go in and you add too much pepper and salt and a whole lot of stuff up front, and you over season the food, you cannot take it away, but you can always add, okay? Okay, this is thickening up really, really good. See, just like so. You probably can't see it way over there, but it's thickening up now. Just like I like it. And if I don't think it's thick enough, I can always add a little more starch to it and broth to it. But right now, it's thickening up really, really good. I'm going to pour this over that steak. I think I want you guys to see it first. Yeah, it's thickening up just like I like it. Cornstarch is a very good thickening agent. Flour will do the same thing. So if you don't have cornstarch on hand, don't even sweat it. Just use some flour. About a tablespoon of flour and some chicken stock, beef stock or chicken stock. If you don't have beef stock or chicken stock, you can use a little water. You do the same thing. Okay? Yeah, this is thickening up really, really good. Just like the Church Girl like it. Now I'm going to pour this over this steak here. I'm going to bid you guys a good evening. I got to move my camera because I don't have my tall tripod yet. There's the steak. The steak is ready. This is my Marsala sauce. It's cooking up really, really nice and thick. It's ready to go over the steak. My squash is all ready. Church Girl is cooking up squash, smothered in onion with a little sweet red bell peppers, with some nice seasoning, garlic powder, a little salt and pepper, and I put a little red pepper flakes up in there. And of course I use my gourmet peppers, peppercorn, and season to taste, okay? My steak, I use a steak rub, and I let that steak marinate for a couple of hours, about 2 hours. I let it cook slowly on both sides. And this is my favorite right here, my homemade Marsala sauce smothered in mushroom Marsala sauce. Very, very good. I really want to get this, show you guys. Let me see, can I use I'm a lefty, so I'm going to see, can I use my right hand while I hold this and show you guys. Turn it down some. It comes to nice cook. See what I mean by using that starch? Thicken it right up. You don't want it to be too loose. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pour this over my steak. Church girl is pouring this over her steak. It turned out really, really good. I can taste that Marsala wine. Give it a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful taste. And this looks really, really good. I'm really, really pleased at how it came out. You have garlic, red bell peppers, white shallots, or sweet pepper. That white pepper is sweet. I wanted a little sweetness to it. So I got the white pepper. I'm sorry, white onion, not white pepper. White onion. And I sliced up the onion. And I sauteed that mushroom down in that Marsala wine sauce. Nice and creamy, just like I like it. Nice and creamy. Now, the church girl is going to add it to the steak. Again, that's the squash. And now, let me just see, can I get this? There's the steak. Let me put this camera back down. So thankful every time God gives me strength to cook a meal. I be so thankful that He gives me the strength to do it. Because it's nobody but the Lord. Bear with me here with this camera. I'm sorry. Hopefully my tripod will be in a couple of days. The right tripod. Okay? In the meantime, church girl going to get ready to bid you guys a good evening. And I'm going to go in now. I'm going to go ahead and add this. Let me move this out of the way. I'm going to add this Marsala sauce. Turn this eye on. Turn my steak back on. Turn the steak back on because I'm turning on low. Now what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and just add this Marsala sauce straight over the steak. Now some people go ahead and serve their steak. Before I do that, let me just stop let me take a pause for the calls. I want to taste this steak. Oh yeah, church girl, I want to get a little tip of this steak before I put the sauce over it. Little tip of it. Oh, it looks good. It's not dry. It doesn't have no lot of pink on the inside. I didn't want no pink steak. I wanted it to be cooked good. I'm not going to eat that piece. They have a little piece of fat on it. Now, I did trim the fat off this steak, but I left a little bit of fat on the outside of the rim of the steak because that helps with the flavor when you're cooking your steak. Okay? I want you guys to see what I mean when I say well done. I like my steak cooked really well. Nice, well done steak. Not undercooked, not overcooked, but cooked just right. Just like the church girl like it. So I'm going to give this a taste. And then I'm going to add the Marsala sauce. I know I'm bending over here. You guys can see me. So I can add the Marsala sauce to the steak. But I want to taste it first. Very nice and tender. Tastes very, very good. That steak rub really, really helped. It really helped. Porterhouse steak rub. Can't go wrong with it. Add your little garlic powder and a little onion powder. And then a nice rub on both sides of that steak. And let it marinate. As long as you can afford to let it marinate, the longer the better. And I do declare it's delicious. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and pour this sauce all over the steak. Oh yeah, church girl is cooking up in the kitchen tonight. Squash, smothered squash and onions. Plenty onions. And a nice big Porterhouse steak with my own homemade Marsala sauce, mushroom Marsala sauce. And as you see, church girl's getting all that goodness out of that pan. Oh, you don't leave none of that goodness in that pan. Get it all out. Oh, yeah. Okay, now I have it over the steak. I'm going to bid you guys a good evening. And I'll let this simmer for about 5 minutes. And then serve my king up. And he's probably waiting on that steak. Okay, it looks really good. So the very last thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to go in, I'm going to add some parsley over to this steak. I'm not going to add all this parsley because I think it's Might be a little bit too much, so I'm just going to add a little bit of parsley to it. Because the church girl can do that. Parsley give it a good flavor as well as a beautiful, beautiful look. Oh, there you have it. Tonight, I'm all finished now. Gonna get ready to bid you guys a good evening. Squash is ready. I'm not gonna serve up on the plate. I'll just do that later. But I will show you my finished product. That being said, this is my finished product. Church Girl made Porterhouse steak smothered in mushroom masala sauce over her steak. Now I'm just gonna let it saute up for another minute or two. And tonight, smothered squash smothered in onions, plenty of onions, and a little sweet red bell peppers. Just what the church girl wanted. Okay? That being said, please support my channel, Cooking with Church Girl. Go over there and subscribe. It's just something that I do because it's good therapy for me. No other reason than that. But I'd like for you to subscribe because it will help me with my uploading my videos, especially when I get to 1,000. So please support my cooking channel, Cooking with Church Girl, and I appreciate it very, very much. Love you with the love of the Lord. This look really, really good. I'm really, really pleased the way this come out. Church Girl is really, really pleased. I'm gonna let this just simmer because it's really all ready. And those mushrooms taste so, so good. And my squash tastes so, so good as well. Cooking with Church Girl. There you have it. Nice steak. Okay? With my own masala sauce. Okay, now I'm going to bid you guys a good evening. Until next time, love you with the love of the Lord. Please support my channel. Go over there to Cooking with Church Girl and subscribe, like, and share. I will appreciate it very, very much. Until next time, I'm going to bid you guys a good evening. As I always say, if you desire prayer, just put in the comments to pray for you, or if you have a family member or a friend or anybody that need prayer, Church Girl go to the throne for you because I do believe in the power of prayer. God answer prayers, okay? So I love you with the love of the Lord. Until next time, I'm going to bid you good evening. He has done great things for me. Great things, great things. He has done great things for me and for you. Until next time, Cooking with Church Girl. God bless you and have a good evening. One last peek at my Porterhouse steak smothered in masala sauce, smothered in mushrooms, masala sauce, topped off with fresh parsley. And there's my squash, cooked with lots and lots of smothered in onion and red bell peppers. Okay? Until next time, God bless you and have a good evening.